Okay. So you can see that there's another example of a sentence that talks about difference, but instead of using one of those core cues that I indicated in the presentation before, I use the subordinate conjunction while, because this is another way to talk about something that's different. So you see on the one side, mountains soar up to the sky. That's talking about, the elevation of mountains being, they're up there, they're high in elevation. On the other hand would be another way to say this, but we could use while if you're doing this is a complex B sentence structure here, right? Good. So we've got our first difference. So let's go back to our chart here. And you can see what I mean about organizing your ideas makes it easier to write, because now that I've got that idea, I can literally just plug it in there in my first draft. And then after I give myself soak time, I could upgrade the wording, I could put in a synonym, I could change the kind of vocabulary in the sentence, but at least when I have the idea, I can plug it in there. And so it kind of helps you to just kind of get the writing started, to just kind of push the writing forward. One of my favorite proverbs from Korea is shijoki banida. That's the Korean phrase, and it means starting is halfway there. So the idea is just get started, right? It's sometimes just actually pushing off and taking that first step. Writing down the first idea can be the toughest, but once you start writing, obviously you can build momentum and kind of move things forward. So notice that now that I've kind of stated those two differences that I managed to gather during my brainstorming process, I just kind of need to provide some sort of a transition that will tell the reader that I'm shifting to discussing the similarities. So you can see I've kind of just stated that directly. Next, the similarities of these two natural environments will be considered. So this is a new idea, actually. I didn't even have that in my brainstorming chart, but as I was writing, it seemed like something natural to add. So this is another thing you can see, is that even once you're done brainstorming, if a new idea, something that might even be better than what you've considered, comes up, throw it in there and see if it matches with the rest of the paragraph, if it kind of fits in. So let's see here. Excuse me. That's a writing error there. So my next point is talking about the fact that trees are commonly found around these two types of environments. So what else do we have here? So I'm just going back to my cues here because I'm trying to decide what cue I'm going to use, right? I used additionally up here. And there we go. So that shows you what the exact process of writing this type of paragraph. Notice how I used my cues. You can watch the video again if you want to kind of double check those things. And we ended perfectly. We're right on 200 words. So the word count ended up at 200. So then we would go ahead and let this paragraph soak for a period of time, maybe 2 hours or so, up to 24 hours or 48 hours if you have that amount of time planned into your writing process. And then I would go back and reread it. And obviously there's going to be some things that we'd want to include. So after soak time, comma, you will want to, one, you know, comb the sentences for common errors, things like comma splices, run-on sentences, subject-verb agreement, spelling mistakes, capitalization mistakes, all of those little niggling things that we really want to remove from our writing. So I call it combing it because you're going to take a fine-tooth comb and go through every sentence. You can consider your sentence spicing. You know what I mean by this. Do you have enough range of sentence types. Are there complex A's, complex B's? Is there an example of an academic sentence in there? Do we have compound sentences, simple sentences? And you want there to be a nice variety of sentences there. And finally, you can look at upgrading the ideas and vocabulary. So those are kind of guiding principles to what you should do after you come back from your soak time. Okay, run at it, guys. Good luck with this comparison and contrast essay writing task.